Ochadi ni onyame saudi o mo becha ma unsaka. Oh, intumika oh. There is no hurry in life. Life is not a competition. Abura bono nenya kensi to bo nenya minimu. Acha sunyami becha ma unsaka odie. Oh, nunti manka se mi die na kechikura. Akoko de kakra so obenu so. Oh. Adia na ya chichide dia no. Okama di milikaku. Obesa wa ma chichide abefa no boko. Mesa kabi unsetubo. There is no hurry in life. Don't see I can above
Hope Channel, changing lives.
Hello, good evening, my lovely viewer. God bless you so much for always staying glued to Love at Home on Hope Channel. And hey, we thank God. Hope Channel is 4 years. Hooray! It is because of you. Because you always still glued and you always invite friends to watch the station. Remember to make this station your preferred Christian channel, because this channel is helping you to help bring your families together, strengthen them, and bring joy and happiness as you prepare to meet Christ. Thanks so much because you are watching Love at Home. Love at Home always brings happiness, joy. Thanks so much for always staying glued. Today, once again, we are here with another sensitive topic, and you will enjoy the topic. Remember, we are also live on YouTube, Facebook, and on our WhatsApp platform 0559-680066. 0559-680066. Thanks so much. My name is Efia Sewa Mansa. And today, I have two wonderful women. Yes, they are wonderful. And you will understand why I said they are wonderful. On my far left, I have Mrs. Charity Agri. She is a branch manager with the Best Savings Loans. Best Points Savings and Loans, yes. My dear, good evening.
Good evening.
I hope your day was good.
It was really good.
Ah, I like your dress.
Thank you.
Oh, today is Women's Affair.
Yes.
So you enjoy the program.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you.
And another wonderful guest is Madam Eliezer Asante, Mukase Healthy Foods.
Elise Mukase Healthy Food.
Elise Mukase Healthy Food. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you too.
I wish today you'll be giving us some tidbits on food, healthy foods. Unfortunately, it's not for today, but I'll call you one day.
Yes.
So that you take us through.
No worries.
My lovely women, you are welcome to Love at Home. Let's go for a quick commercial break, and when we come back, I'll introduce you to today's topic, and you will understand why I said today is going to be wonderful. Stay glued. Thanks so much.
Hello, Pathfinders. Are you ready? The Pathfinder Campori 2022 is here. It's just at the corner. Are you ready? Have you packed your backpack? I am already in my t-shirt, ready to meet you at Valley View University, where this Campori is going to take place. I want to assure you, your friend, Jesus Christ, is ready to receive you and to fellowship with you. I cannot wait to see you. Let's go, Pathfinders. Let's go and have fun. Let's go and pray. Let's go and enjoy ourselves. I hope to see you there.
Thanks so much for not leaving the dial. You are watching Love at Home, and today we are discussing managing finance and marriage, and we are discussing her money. Yes, we are discussing her money. I'm sure you are surprised. Yes, we need to discuss it. Her money, what does it do? And by the time we are done with the topic, you will appreciate what you, a woman, your money too can do for the family. Let's go straight to Mrs. Agri. Mrs. Agri,
Yes.
tell me something small about yourself. Who are you?
Good evening to all listeners and all viewers. We are grateful to the Almighty this evening for giving us such a blessed evening. And I would also like to say a big thank you to the organizers of this program for giving us the opportunity to come and discuss our money. My name, as she mentioned earlier, is Charity, Mrs. Charity Agri. I hail from a village called Arowa, which is close to Techiman in the Bono East region. But I lived and schooled in the Upper East region, precisely Bogatanga. I did my basic education there. Then I continued to Navrongo Secondary School. Then from there, I did my first degree at Central University in banking and finance. Then I continued to do my MBA in finance at University of Cape Coast. I am currently working with Best Point Savings and Loans as a branch manager. I am married with 3 kids. So this is all about me.
Wow, wow, that is great. My dear, tell me something small about yourself.
Okay, so my name is Eliezer Asante Asari.
Okay.
I am married. I have 3 children.
Uh-huh.
I am an entrepreneur in the food and agro-business industry. Basically, Elise Mukasi Healthy Foods shop, clean and deliver healthy foodstuffs to individuals and families that are too busy to do so for themselves. And in addition to that, we make certain food products such as the ginger and garlic paste, fish powder, palm extract, and quite a host of other agro products.
Ellie's Kitchen, I will charge you. You know that, I will charge you. Okay.
Yeah, so basically that's what
that
we
is
do
it.
at
Well done
Ellis
and congratulations.
Thank
well
you.
done
Thank
for
you.
your efforts and whatever you are doing.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mrs. Agri,
Yes, dear.
do you think women have to support a home? What form do you think we need to support the home?
Yes, women need to support the home. In that, as we are Christians, we need to refer to the Bible. When we read Genesis chapter 2, verse 18, it states that God saw that it was not good for a man to live alone. Hence, he would create a helpmate for him to help him. The underlying word here is a helpmate. When we talk about a helpmate, what are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to sit back aloof and watch whatever is going on? No. You have to support. It is a home we are building. Hence, we are not supposed to leave all the burden for just the man to carry. Since we share the love bond between us, we need to support the home to lessen the burdens of the man a bit. So I think we should, as women, and if we want to be virtuous women, we need to support our home.
Wow, this is Asante. Do you share the same view with her?
Yes, on the whole, yes. I think generally it's seen to be the responsibility of the man, but
if you are just limiting yourself to money, you would say, maybe I don't need to support. But our role as wives extend far more than monetary value. And so if you sit down and you say, no, I'm not supposed to support the home, you may be shooting yourself in the foot, because there's a lot more than just money that is required when it comes to being a wife.
In that case, what supports are you talking about? What do you think women can support in or with?
You see, a virtuous wife, we are in a Christian setting, so a virtuous wife is not limited to just money, like I initially said. We are expected to make the home a peaceful and a more comfortable home for everyone. And so we have duties that extend to love, care, support in all the emotional, in all the physical, in all the other aspects. And it doesn't just limit yourself to the husband, the children as well, and the family extended as well. And so if we say you are not required to support the home financially, well, how about the other aspects? How about making sure that there is peace at home? And those things are intangible. It's more than just the money. And so that is a wrong notion if you say, no, it's not my duty to support the home. It's more than that.
So if I understand you clearly, you are saying that if I'm a woman and I'm not bringing in money to support, and I'm doing the laundry, I am cooking, I am helping the children, they are all forms of support, right?
That is more than the needed support. Because if a man should come home, assuming that you are the one staying home for the man to go and work and come, and then when he comes home and there's an untidy environment, the children have not bathed, the children have not done their homework, there's no food at home, there will be chaos. And so if you say that I'm not bringing in money, so I'm not doing anything to support the home, how about those who employ house helps? The house helps are paid to do these things, devoid of love and care. But women do these things with the love and the care that is needed to make it complete. And those are intangible. Those cannot be put into monetary value.
Mrs. Asante, Mrs. Agri, yes. Let me ask this. What do you use your money for?
My money for?
Yes.
Women, we have a lot of things to do with our money. Research have shown that women are better managers of finances.
Wow, give it to the women.
Personally, when I receive my income, the first thing I cater for is to support God's work. That includes my tithe and offering and other church products. When I am done with that, I need to save for a rainy day. There might be contingencies that would arise in the course of our lives. If we do not save for a rainy day, we will be found wanting when it happens. So I save a portion of my income for such rainy days. When I'm done with that one, I support my family. My husband pays a chunk part of the bills and and all other things at home, but I support him. I support him with the bills, with the fees and everything. So I also make provision for that one. When we talk about a virtuous wife or a virtuous woman should be charitable. So I ensure I leave a portion of my salary to help those who are in need. Then finally, the rest I use to cater for myself.
I like the way you are smiling. You are saying, I use the rest to cater for myself. My dear, let me ask you the same question.
Okay. Okay, so limited to this discussion, I would say that, I'm an entrepreneur.
Yes.
So it's not like the formal sector that you are sure of the money that comes to you. In this line of business I do, there are inconsistencies. Yes, but at least you know an average of what you receive at every month. And so basically, when a woman says that I use the money on myself, I even laugh because the things that you think you are using for yourself
you end up?
Effectively, for the home, what at all do we do on ourselves? So personally, I would use basically the money I get to cater for the home, and then the little to save. And then, like I was trying to say initially, there are dynamics to this. Some families will do total joint. Others will say, let's foot the bills 50-50 and keep the rest of the money on your own. In my home, that's not it. It's in a bigger pot, and then there's the structure from which we expend. And so if all those expenses are satisfied, we have family projects. We have, of course, God's business. We have other things that we do with the money. And then the rest, you can say that, okay, you can have some soft life. But generally, when we say keeping money for yourself, it doesn't really apply to me because it can never be enough. Mm-hmm. It can actually never be enough, yes.
Yeah, I'm interested with your part because you're an entrepreneur.
Yes.
You know, sometimes you go to work, okay, your monies may come daily. Sometimes it may not come at all. How do you plan?
How do I even go about it? Okay, so I have done this for a while.
Okay.
So I know that it comes in seasons.
Okay.
And so there's this policy, maybe 30, 30, 40.
Okay.
So 30 goes back into the business. And then 30 is more like a saving because the business needs to expand.
Okay.
You are putting the 30% back as capital,
Okay.
30% as savings to increase your capital, and then the 40 can go into family. And because my husband is aware of this and he is in the formal sector, there's this way by which we are able to plan our expenses and expend it accordingly. And he knows the inconsistencies of the job. And so when at a particular time I'm not able to provide it, there's still room for those feelings.
Okay.
Yes.
Mrs. Agri, you are in the formal sector.
Exactly.
And I am glad you are in the savings and loan industry or the banking industry. So you see women with doing bobojoa, small savings. Do you normally see them doing it for bigger projects for the families, or they are using it for something personal for themselves?
Women have a big heart. We always think about the loved ones around us. Some might not agree with me, but I know it is the men who are petty when it comes to their money. But with women, the money we get, we ensure we spend it with our loved ones and those around us. Some of the customers we have, they do savings. And when they do these savings, when there is an issue at home, a woman doesn't think about going into her business money to resolve that issue. She would go into the account to fetch whatever is there to resolve the issue. So most women always save. When you ask them why they save, they will tell you, oh, my daughter is going to school, my son is going to school. I'm saving towards helping my husband to acquire a house or maybe to do a project. But there are certain petty things the women do which I would like to talk about.
Please go ahead.
The first thing has to do, women, when it comes to impulse buying, we are good at that. We are very, very good at impulse buying. And all these things doesn't help.
Yeah.
Because it's like you are fetching water into a basket.
A basket.
It keeps sinking. So we should have a plan. Let's be disciplined. Once we have a budget, we should be able to stick to the budget. When we are going to the market for shopping, let's do a list. Once we go according to the list. We only buy extra things when there is a change. So we as women, we need to avoid all these petty things so that our money can grow. What I've realized is that most women, their monies are not able to grow because of some of these petty things. And another thing too is that some of them don't even inform their spouses that they even have accounts here or there. And it's becoming a challenge. Death is inevitable. It will come. In case it happens to you, your spouse is not aware where you keep your funds. When that happens, it means it's gone. So as we are Christians, let's be transparent with our partners and disclose everything to them.
Miss Asante, okay, go ahead. You wanted to say something?
I was going to say that, you know, there's this notion that it's my money, but my husband's money is our money.
Okay.
You see, that's
interesting.
That's quite a selfish thinking, because just before we came on set, I saw this on a friend's page. You know, the men have a 6-yard cloth that they wear, you know, at gatherings. But when we want to carry our children at our back, we don't use that.
No.
We go for the 2 yards that is attached to our kabayan's leg. And it was an advice to women that men may bring the bigger chunk, but then that small 2 yards has a way of holding the family together. That 6 years could not carry the child, but the 2 yards you want to take from your cloth is the best for carrying children.
At that time.
Yes, at that time. In the same vein, you may have a husband that supports 100%, but that little 10% or 5% that you say, my husband, this is what I have, use it to cushion whatever expenses you are managing. It gives an impression that you understand the sufferings of the man. Most times, women take decisions such as these because of past experiences. We are not here to judge. But then I think that on the whole, if communication is clear, if there's transparency, if there isn't any form of, the right word escapes me, but if...
Trust, ambiguity, whatever.
If there isn't any mistrust, that if he knows that I have this money, he's not going to give me chop money, as we put it. So I'll hide mine. And to understand that some women actually force their husbands for refunds on monies that they have expended on their own children. I mean, we are shooting ourselves in the foot with this action, because if the husband is not able to provide at that moment, and then it beholds on you too, and you don't, maybe the child is the one going to bear the crunch. So the child is sick, you have the money, but because husband is not providing, so the child can die? No. I agree, sometimes past experiences forces us to do this, and that's why this program is very important, because we need to forgive. We need to move ahead from that stage, because it goes a long way to affect everyone in that family. So,
is there the need for us to discuss financial management at home?
Yes, there is a need to discuss it.
Why? It is my money.
Yes. But before we discuss it, in discussing it as a family, we need to consider age. It's a family thing. Okay. It's not just the husband and the wife.
Okay, you mean including the children?
Including the children.
Okay, how do we include the children in this regard?
You know, with children, in discussing our finances, we would need to discuss our income.
Of course.
First. Yeah. Then we go on to the expenses. Now, let's take it that you have like a 5-year-old, a 10-year-old amongst that discussion when it comes to finances. As soon as the child gets to know that my mom is earning this, my dad is earning that, they would start making ambiguous requests from you. So in discussing finances, with that one, I would plead we exempt the children when they are old enough and they can comprehend our discussion. Then we include them. Now, we need to plan as a family, because we would need to know, to save costs. We know this is what is at our disposal. This is what we have. These are our expenses. So we need to ensure that the little we have, we are working around it. Now, we need it in order to also cut down on costs. That is with the finances aspect of it. Now, when we are able to identify all the things we need and at what times we need them, now we discover when we talk about financial plan, it's not just about monetary value.
Okay.
There are other things involved.
Okay.
There are household chores. The kids have a role to play. So their role, the kids, the role they are supposed to play, we need to involve them at that point.
Okay.
Let's say in saving costs, what can we do? We've realized our electricity expenses is so high. We involve the children. This is it. Our budget for this month on electricity is 100 cedis. But the bills that are coming is like 150. You ask them, what can we do about it?
Yeah.
Let them bring their suggestions.
That's good.
Now, maybe they might say, okay, mommy, okay, daddy, let's switch off some of the lights when we
not
are
in
not
use.
when not in use. Let's switch off the AC when the weather is cold. They are also bringing, once you involve them, they are able to do it better. So we involve them in such issues. But when it comes to the finances, it is just between you and your husband. You would need to discuss this. Then what the children, you need to discuss with them, you go ahead and discuss it. As I said earlier, you can cut down on costs. It would help you to also stay within your budget. It can increase your standard of living.
Of course.
How? Let's say we live in a dilapidated environment.
Or building.
By saving costs and living within our means, we are able to save some extra cash. With that, maybe we are able to rent a house or buy a house in East Legon. Our standard of living has changed.
Yeah.
So it will also help us to change our standard of living. And it will also help us to fulfill our financial responsibilities at home. And if we are going out as a family, let's keep it to ourselves that this is our budget. Let's say you are taking the kids to the mall. Tell them we are spending 500 cedis. Anything extra, it's a no-go area. If you don't plan it, the family will end up getting into a financial distress in the middle of the month.
Yeah.
And when that happens, it means you need to start borrowing.
Borrowing.
And it's going to be a burden on the family.
Wow. Mr. Asante, do you specify what percentage should go into rent, should go into, say, school fees, feeding, and all that? Is it necessary we do that?
Oh, yes, it is. Like I said initially, the family dynamics differ.
Yeah.
So in some homes, the man would say, okay, I bring 70, you bring 30.
Okay.
In some homes, the man would say, I bring 100. Some, it's also 50-50. So it actually depends on the family dynamics and the agreement. It boils down to communication, like I initially said. And so you know that the expense of the house includes rent, includes water bill, electricity, includes feeding, includes children's school fees and all that. It's better to itemize them, put a value to them, know the cost, and then know the income that is coming in. They know how to apportion them. When there's a deficit, you then know how to
Complement it.
Yes, to complement it. And so there isn't a fast and hard rule, but then the important thing is communicating with your spouse as to how to go about it. Once you have that settled, it doesn't really matter the percentages you attach to it. But in family projects, you would want to do that because it helps you project. And so if you are planning a family, to buy a house or to build a house, you say that, okay, 20% of our income together will go into savings towards the purchase of a house or towards the construction of a house. That is different. But those other ones, there isn't a fast and hard rule about it. Yeah,
Mr. Asante, you know that we have some of our women who are into doing, for in quotes, bubuja jobs. Yes. Selling of small things. They do not consider such as jobs. So you usually hear them saying, I am not working. So you realize that the person is not bringing anything at all. What what can you tell such people? Do you see them to be working?
They are, but probably hand to mouth. And you can't fault them. But again, I say that communication. So if your husband sees you going on markets rounds every day, yet you claim you are not working, I mean, it's not fair to the man, especially if there's an agreement that both of you are bringing to the table. Yes, so it will surprise, it will amaze you to know that these bourgeois you claim are making it. Yes. They are. You calculate what the expected profits are on their item, and you realize that when you sum it up for a month, it's a lot of money.
So what could be the problem here then?
Like I said, hand to mouth, lack of saving discipline. Yes. That's why I said, for me, though it's hard, we tried the 30-30-40. I mean, for me, when it becomes critical, I'll go back to it. I would rather use it for a critical situation than suffer the consequences of it. Yes. But if you are able to do that, no matter how small, that's why most market women have the susu. Yes. And so they discipline themselves, and no matter what, when the susu people come every day, I'm giving them 10 cedis. And it will shock you the amount of money these people have.
Wow.
Exactly. The informal sector have the money. They do.
Please educate us. How can they quantify? I mean, how can they plan it and realize that they're actually getting something?
Savings, no matter how small. And then cutting down on impulse buying. Impulse buying. There's a likelihood to do that because you are coming from the market. When you're coming, my child needs this, but maybe that want can wait. Yeah. But you would end up buying it, and then it reduces the amount of money you are taking home. So savings and then being disciplined about the rest of the money you have is key. Some of them you cannot avoid. There are some family expenses that are just beyond your control. That is where it becomes critical to involve other factors. But if it beholds on you and you are capable of doing it, you have to. You have to.
Mrs. Agri.
Yes.
Is your husband aware where you keep your money and how much you get?
Yes, my husband is
aware.
Are you sure? I'm sure.
The promotion that just came.
He's aware.
Okay.
Yes.
So you are saying that you communicate everything to him.
Yes.
So once he gets to know that you are getting this, you are getting that, do they also support you, or do you also sometimes come up with some expenses?
I would say my husband is an exception to that.
Okay.
Irrespective of how much you earn, what he's supposed to do, his responsibility, he lives up to it. Some men, as soon as you disclose your income to them, then they'll start giving excuses. Oh, this month they didn't pay me, or they had to slash my salary, blah, blah, blah. You know, we are Christians. We need to be transparent with our spouses. Now, if you are not transparent with your spouse to know your income and other things, it doesn't speak well of you as a Christian. It says we are a man for the Bible says that a man will leave his home and cleave with his wife. So once you are together, you are one. Hence, there shouldn't be any secrecy amongst you. You need to disclose everything about your income to him. Now, when you disclose it to him, some of the men, when they see you are earning so much, then they cut down their responsibility.
Or so little.
Yes, it is not proper.
Okay. Yeah. All right. On this note, let's go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll continue with the discussion. Please stay tuned. Thanks so much.
We want to defy our family's decision and get married or elope. I need advice. What should I do?
Please, what should I do?
How do I tell her I cheated on her months ago? I need help. What should I do?
Okay, so for me, the moment I read the story, the first thing that came to mind was, wow, knowledge is indeed power. Sometimes we go through situations because we have no knowledge of how to go about them.
If you come from a home like that, you are likely to accept anything the outsider would, direct at.
The fact that we had an interesting ceremony where a priest prayed and all of that doesn't mean that magically you have turned into something else.
If he finds his way to God, a Bible believing church, and he goes and he wants to change, nothing is impossible.
His properties to charity and stuff?
Oh no, why? Okay, I think this is another discussion that we will not end today, so we'll not even go into it.
Real Talk, showing this and every Wednesday at 8 p.m.
Hello and welcome to Hope Channel, and of course to your favorite program, Watch These Signs.
As long as you are not in that boundary, he will do all kinds of things to protect you so that you continue to move. There are times some things should have happened which should have crushed you to death, but because of the power of God, to give you extra more time so that you can consider the issues of eternity. From plug things
on the farm.
Verse 23.
Yes, and that was when the Pharisees came, then he made this statement. And that is the same response people give today. That the Sabbath law says, thou shalt not do this, thou shalt not do this, don't touch this, don't go to market, don't. And so people use this text to tell you that even Jesus.
Hello, you are welcome back, and you are still watching Love at Home. You are discussing finances and marriage, and today we are looking at hair money. Yes, we are looking at hair money. That is why we have beautiful women here, and we are discussing hair money. Mrs. Agri,
Yes.
before we went on break, you were telling us something, but now I would want to know. If I want to put the question very well so that you can understand me. Supposing, would you be able to manage a home if you were, for lack of a better word, a single parent?
Being a single parent is not easy. It is extremely difficult. But if you have so much love for your family, for your kids, you would go out of your way to ensure they are catered for. Some are single parents not for their own choice. It has happened to them and they need to deal with it. When it happens to you, you would need to deal with it. What would you do? Would you go and steal to cater for the kids? You need to do petty jobs and petty things to be able to be on your feet in order to cater for your kids. So it is difficult being a single parent, but it is doable. And it all depends on your income. If you have a fat bank account, that one, it will be easy for you. You can do it. And we should also take note of the fact that when we talk about taking responsibility as a single parent for the kids, it is not just monetary value.
Yeah.
There are other things involved.
Yeah.
So you might lack on that aspect, but you need to cope because it has happened. So you need to adjust and cope with it. It will be difficult anyway, but you need to cope. So if I'm a single parent, I can do it.
You manage it.
Yes.
By God's grace.
Amen.
That's good. Mr. Asante, you see, sometimes we hear that my husband has lost the job, and now I'm the only person taking care of the family. So you hear that women are maltreating their husbands and all that. What should women do when it happens like that?
It requires wisdom.
Okay.
Because times and seasons happen to everyone. It's your husband's turn. What if the coin flips and it's your turn? Will you be happy with the way you are treating him and it's being the same treatment being meted out to you? Of course not. And no matter what, he remains the head of the family, spiritually and physically. And so I would rather say, with all joy, support, do your best, and don't make him feel less of himself, because a lot of emotions are in play when it comes to loss of job. It's a difficult thing. And so when men in particular should lose their jobs and they have women always on their necks, always trying to show that they are now in charge, there's a whole lot that goes on. So I would advise that when a woman is in a situation like that, we should pray for wisdom so that we do the right things during that period, because it can flip. The season can change. Your husband can get back on his feet. And then what happens to you? What happens to your marriage? Yes.
Yeah, but I want to ask you again. When we are supporting the family, do we usually do this out of love, or we see it as a responsibility?
With love goes the responsibility. Yes, because one, if you are not being responsible to your family, what then are you doing? And then the love is an established fact. That is why you are married.
Okay.
If there was no love, the two of you wouldn't be joined together as husband and wife. No matter how small the love is.
There's love.
There is love.
Yes.
And no one marries the enemy.
Yeah.
Yes. So those two are together, but it's more of a responsibility because you were matured and you agreed to marry. And then after agreeing to marry, you agreed to have children. And by the grace of God, you were blessed with it. So you automatically become responsible for the home you have prayed to God to give you. And so you catering for the home is a responsibility that was born out of love.
Out of love.
Yeah, to add to what she just mentioned, when we talk about family, and when it comes to love and responsibility in the family, they go hand in hand.
Okay.
If there is no love, as she said, there is no responsibility. Now, imagine your husband going through financial difficulties and you know you can help. Then you sit aloof. It means
you don't
love your husband. And secondly,
even to your kids.
Because the meltdown would get to your kids if your husband is not able to provide financially. So if you really love your husband and your family, you should support at all times. Now, when it comes to the responsibility aspect, you know, God created us for a purpose. One of the purposes why God created women is to be a helpmate. So it's a responsibility.
Okay.
If you are a helpmate, as I said earlier, you don't sit aloof. You need to also, it's a home you are building, and you need to get involved in order to beat your chest and say, I was part of building this family. If you don't help, how can you say you were part of, in the build-up of the family? No.
Yeah.
So it's both a responsibility and it's also out of love that we support the family.
Yes, but you see, I want to know what will be the advantage for a woman trying to support and the disadvantage for not supporting. You slightly mentioned the disadvantage, but I want to know the advantage, why a woman should, try to support the family, no matter what it takes.
A woman should try to support the family because the family, it's a small heaven.
Wow.
And there should be, as the name of this program goes,
love at home. Yes.
There should be love at all times.
Yes.
You would bear witness with me that when there is no money at home, there is no happiness. You go to the house and the kids, they are so sad because they haven't had anything to eat for the whole day. They are malnourished. And looking at the rising economic challenges we have nowadays, if you leave the whole burden to the man, then it means that
you want your husband to die.
His health.
Yes.
Consider his health.
Yeah.
He would break down, and all the burden, you become a widow.
Yes. Yeah.
So you need to. So the advantages is that one, you keep a small heaven
on earth.
Yeah. In your home, because there will always be love.
Yeah.
You know, at times when you support the men, when they are coming from outside, just think about some of the accolades they give us. Yes, they praise us. Yes,
as if you
when
know,
you support
my darling,
husband,
my honey.
Exactly.
Yes.
When you support a husband, when he's coming from outside, he's not coming with anger.
Yes.
He's happy.
Yes.
Because he knows someone has got his back.
That's good.
The children will become happy. They wouldn't be malnourished. And when they are going out, they are so confident of themselves.
That is true.
Imagine kids going somewhere and your children are not well dressed. As soon as they get there, they would
isolate
themselves from the general, and it's not good for the kids.
Yeah.
When they are going, even at school, when they are learning, their concentration is not there. So when we support the family, these are some of the advantages we will choke when we support the family. The disadvantages she mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
The meltdown would go to the kids.
Yeah.
Now when they go to school, they are unable to concentrate.
Yeah.
And it would end, some of the kids would end up being vagabonds and other things, because they would need to associate themselves with these rascals in order to get something to buy, maybe food or clothes. So these are some of the things.
Yes, Mr. Asante.
Women play a very integral part of the family, and we can't overemphasize it enough. For a family to be what it is, it's mostly dependent on the woman.
Yeah.
And so I would just say that we should know our role as women, and that role is biblical. We make the home. So even with nothing, the woman is still capable. We have been blessed with the ability to make something out of nothing.
Yeah.
And so just look at this concept. You throw a ball to the wall, it bounces back to you. So how you throw it depends on the intensity with which you
the force behind
it. And so we shouldn't downplay our roles as women. I was just going to say something earlier, it escaped me. In my job, and the people who do the kind of job I do, you could arrange with your husband that I'll take care of food. So maybe depending on how high the other income is, you can say, okay, you take care of fees, you take care of bills, I'll take care of food. You might think that food is a small thing, but feeding children and 2 adults, morning, afternoon, evening, plus snack, plus water, it's not easy. And food does not just include the ingredients, it includes the gas you are going to use,
the energy, the time.
Yes. And so, understanding, agreement, that is basic. And then you do all other things to ensure that even though there's no money, at least there's peace.
And love.
And love.
Yeah. Mrs. Agri, you see, in our local parlance, you hear women, those days, now I don't think we are saying, but I'm sure people are still having that notion that when you are the February fee, a kaba, fatana fee, like when you go and you get something good, bring it to the family. When there is any debt or any issue, then give it to the man. What do you say about that?
I think these were statements way back, but I don't think nowadays things have changed.
But it has worried families.
It has worried families.
It has really destroyed
lots of
families.
That is the reason why we are having this program.
Yes.
To educate all of us that if we are building a family, it's a collective something. It is not just the man. So when you get something substantial, it means you have to take it to your family, and let's say you go and push somebody's stuff down, then you need to run to your husband for money. No, it doesn't work that way, because the meltdown, as I said earlier, it goes to your kids. Now everybody is taking care of his or her family. So if you get it and you are taking it to your external family and neglecting your own family, at the end you would suffer because your kids will not get the best out of life. And by the time you realize it, it will be too late to make amends. So now that notion of you getting something, a japade, take it to your family, then if there's a debt, you bring. No, we have gone past that age. Now we are in the new era. And with the, as I said earlier, with the rising economic crisis, you can't leave everything to the man. There wouldn't be love at home. Yes. So we need to also start thinking about our immediate families around rather than taking everything we have to our external family.
What if you do all this, Mr. Asante, your husband doesn't appreciate?
What can you do? What can you do? It's that's why you shouldn't be doing it for your husband.
Okay.
It's hard, but that's the truth. In doing things, we have the first person we are accountable to is God.
Yes.
Yes, and then our fellow humans. And so if your husband doesn't appreciate it, God does. It's hard. We are human. We think about it. We'll brood over it. But you can really do nothing about it. You can just pray to God to help your husband to see what he's refusing to see. Yeah. But aside that, you can't go fighting him that. I mean, and no man, no wise man will see the efforts of his wife, no matter how small, and not put value to it, especially if you are doing it from a genuine heart. It's different if you are complaining and making noise in his ears about the little you are doing to support. This is a genuine means of supporting the family.
Yeah.
Every wise and reasonable man will appreciate it.
Yes. Well, I just received a message. Somebody was trying to tell me something that I think the husband used to do everything at home. I mean, every bill. The husband just said that he was traveling to Kede or somewhere. The man never returned. And so getting even food for the children has become a problem. Now the children are all out of school. What do you think is as a result of this?
You know, in our earlier discussions, we mentioned making out contingency plans. You should always save for a rainy day. We might never know what tomorrow holds for us. So if you get everything and you squander everything today, just as you said, the man said he was just going to Kede, but he never returned. But because there was no contingency plan, the kids are out of school now, having difficulty getting even food to eat. Now, the other thing too is that it is possible the man was not transparent with his wife. So he did not disclose where he kept his money, where he had other investment. He never discussed that with the wife. So now the man is down. How do they go about it? They are unaware of where all his monies are. So
please add your last remarks to it as you are winding up with this.
Okay. So as partners, we are partners. We need to be as transparent as possible. Now, some men don't appreciate the little efforts the women we put in place. When we talk about our household chores and other things, that one, it's unquantifiable. As you said earlier, some men
can't monetize it.
You can't monetize it. Now, some men can, what have we brought to the table? I've been out working, blah, blah. But you cannot quantify the household chores. Now, let's say most of the household chores are intangible.
Yeah.
How do you quantify it?
But they are difficult,
you can't. Now, some of the things that goes into the household, one, the energy, two, the time. Time is a resource that once you lose it,
you can't have it back.
It's a commodity. Once you lose it, you can't have it back. So how do you quantify it? So they should learn to appreciate the little things and the little support we give them. We, the ladies too, we shouldn't have the notion that it's a man's responsibility So once he does it, fine. So you've paid the rent, and so let's learn to appreciate the men. Let's commend them for what they are doing. Oh dear, thank you for paying the kids' school fees. Thank you for paying the rent. You know, the story in the Bible where the lepers, the 10 lepers, Jesus healed them.
Yeah.
When they went, it is only one who came back. And he asked, where are the others? So when they do anything for us, let's learn to appreciate them. We should thank them. And by so doing, it would help the men to bring more.
And they will love to do it more.
And
This
they
is
will always
something.
be love at home.
Thanks so much. Your last comments, please.
Well, I'll just say that two heads are better than one.
That's good.
And it's in that vein that God puts man and woman together. And so we should see the marriage institution as a team, as a teamwork, where the husband and the wife are both in there to make things okay for everyone and not one-sided. Like I said, people will have their personal reasons for taking the actions they do. But I'll just say that if there isn't any room for mistrust, find a way to get into a team with your husband. Sit down and see how best to plan the family and the finances of the family such that it will benefit everyone. And then again, to add to women who are not doing any work and are totally dependent on their husbands. Like Mrs. Agri said, times have changed. So if you have a means to do something with your hands, if you have a means to go back to formal employment, whatever it is you can do, remember you are not doing it for just yourself. You are doing it for the family, for the stabilization of the family as well. So this is the little I have to add as we go on.
Wow, all too soon our time is up. And I am so grateful for the discussion that we've had so far. Mrs. Agri and Mrs. Asante, thanks so much for the time and for the knowledge you have shared with us. I guess you out there, you've taken few things that is going to support you. And remember that Ephesians 5:22, I like this version, Ephesians 5:22 says, wives, understand and support your husbands in ways that show your support for Christ. You cannot seem to be worshiping Christ whom you cannot see and yet leave your family to destroy. On this note, I say thank you so much for always staying glued to Love at Home. And when the time comes up, always remember to call and invite your friends. On this note, good night and bye-bye. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Christ is King. Hallelujah. Christ is King. Hallelujah. Christ is King. We have this hope that burns within our heart. Hope in the coming of the Lord.
Hope Channel, changing lives. Welcome once again to the evening devotion, a time when we meditate on God's Word. Tonight, I invite you to take your Bibles as we turn to the book of 2 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 7. 2 Timothy chapter 4 verse 7. Let us read together God's Word. 2 Timothy chapter 4 verse 7. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Do you know that the Christian's life is not about who finishes first, but rather it is about who endures to the end. Let me share with you the story of John Stephen